Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the allotment and the channel, where I'm still on with the task of cleaning out the greenhouse, the main greenhouse. I've managed to get all the peppers harvested now and the chilies, so the remaining compost is going to go into or on top of my compost bay. I don't know yet. I might actually put it on a bed. In fact, I will. I'm going to put it on a bed. See how quick I changed my mind? Yeah, I'm just getting rid of the top of the stem, and then what I'll do is these will go out onto the bed, let the weather get to them a little bit, and then I'll just, it's not the same shape, is it? And then I'll just smash it up into the bed and I'll add a manure over the top of it, and then that'll make the bed up a little bit more. I'm still taking it very easy. I'm finding whilst I'm moving everything's fine, but it's when I stop moving that I get the trouble. So getting up on a morning, I'm very, very stiff indeed and in a little bit of pain, but just keep going and hopefully things will get better. I have got a chiropractor, and I am going to make an appointment to go back and see him, because as I say, this episode, certainly when it went, was a hell of a lot more painful than I've ever had. Right, so this greenhouse is an absolute state, but slowly but surely we'll get there. So what I'm hoping to do today is get all these onto the bed, and once I've done that, that's not right, these are different pots. Yep, once I've done that, I'll get this greenhouse tidied out, and then I'm going to go over there and take those squash off, because that bed is absolutely weed ridden. But I'm just going to do a little and do it often, and fingers crossed I'll get there. Right, so we're getting there. Starting to tidy up a little bit. Oh, there's a battery there. Give it a good sweep. The spiders in here, I am telling you, there's some absolutely massive ones. I'm not too bothered about spiders. They don't frighten me. Not like rats and frogs and hamsters. So yeah, I'm going to get this all swept down. I keep meaning to take this staging out, which I made just by splitting a pallet down the middle and giving it a good paint. I was supposed to do it last year and I didn't. So I'm definitely going to give it a coat of paint just to tidy it up a little bit. Right. Gosh, where do all these leaves come from? Once I get this completely cleaned and I do the I do the glass as well. And then what I do before season comes, I get one of those insecticide bombs, close all windows and set that off. So that then kills any bugs that are in here. Right, that's them there. This is a really good racking system, this. You just watch it though, because this is where spiders love to live. And they just slot in, and you can build them however high you want. Got these off the father-in-law. They really work well. So, just stack them outside. Got myself some cardboard. My daughter got a new fridge, so I says, I'll have that. Oh, look at these weeds in here. Wow. Now straight away, even though it's not finished, that makes me feel a lot better. It looks half decent. Right, what I've got to do is I'm going to go down there now and do the squash, which I'm going to do, but I've got to sort out Dahlia Avenue. It's absolutely chock-a-block. As you can see, these are leaning right out. So when it's rained, it's even worse. So I've had the best of the show. So now it's just a case of just cutting them back. I'll wait until we get a little touch of frost on them, and then I'll cut them right back and I'll start to bring them in to dry them off. But I've got to be able to get through here. I think Ali did say to me, from the Rusty Garden, Ali did say to me, when I was talking about the roses, that they do grow right out. But it's the dahlias that have been the problem. We've not seen those roses. Put them in for naught, really. So I won't be putting the dahlias in here next season. Hopefully the roses, when I've pruned them back, I'll put on a better show in the second season. So, and then what I've decided to do, I've just been having a chat with Graham, my plot neighbour, who grows dahlias as well. What I've decided to do is I'm going to just put dahlias in the garden bed here. I'm not going to bother with the cosmos next year. I think the way that the dahlias have performed this year, I think I'm going to stick them all in one big bed and just have the front garden as a dahlia bed. Oh, there you go, you see. Starting to see the path now. Starting to see the path. I had a brief discussion with the plane going over there. I had a brief discussion with a couple of the committee members, just talking about water and the cost of it. And it's unbelievable. I'm very, very shocked at the charges and how much it is. Some months on this site were charged, or certainly on one of them, we were charged £1,400 for just 1 month, which, to be fair, it's not really sustainable. So I think we need to pay particular attention to the water and try to encourage people to get these water butts out there to ensure that they're catching all the rain water that they can throughout the winter period. As I say, I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 butts in total for this plot, plus the 2 IBCs. So realistically, those full, I shouldn't really need to be using the water. So we're gonna maybe try and encourage people to, on all the buildings, to make sure that they've got gutters on, make sure that they've got water butts. And I think one of the issues is some people can't get hold of them. So I think what we'll do as a committee is try and see if we can find any good bargains out there. If we were to get these blue containers in bulk. Right, well this is coming on quite well. Do you guys have water? Because some sites don't. And if you do have water, what do you pay? We charge our allotmenteers, our plot holders, excuse me, £15 per year. Then the rent, obviously, that goes on top of that. Irregardless if you've got a half plot, full plot, or one of the disabled beds, it's just a standard charge. But I think we've certainly got to look at what we're doing with the water and how we're using it. I mean, obviously we don't want to be putting prices up. What with the cost of living that's going on over here, we don't really want that impacting as plot holders. But if we want to stop that, we've got to be a bit more canny with the water. Right, I have a full barrow there. I'll get that down to the bottom. Right, what I've got to do now is try and find the squash. And there's one here in the parsnip bed. So I'll get there we go. It's not three bad. One down here. And these are turning that peachy colour, so I'm fine with that. I'll get the ones that I can see. I'm just out of shot, I know, but I'll be back with you shortly. That one. And that one. There's another two. Beauties. Right. So, these. I'm not going to compost these. We've got a big fire. The area that we've been clearing, where we had the big fire the other day. So there's some more wood there. So I'm just going to take this down there, and when we have the burn the next time round, let's have a look. There's a baby one that's going to have to be sacrificed. Is there any more in here? What's in here? So, got one here that's not so big, but it'll do. And these will go in the shed and ripen. But after a while, I get sick of looking at the mess. So I'll leave that one that's going out that way. I'll give you a cut and I'll come back to you. There we go. Look at all that weed. Right, I think we've got something on the other side of this fence. Oh, gosh. Oh, yep, we've got one here. Give that a snip. give that over there. Any more? Just check. Any more? Any more for any more? No. Right. Got your leg back over mouth. What you saying? Oh. As I say, moving about ain't too bad. It's not until I sit down when I have a cuppa and get back up. Right. I'll spin you right round, baby, right round. Like a record, baby. There we go. And then these three are definitely creamy coloured, so they're going. I'm having them. There we go. Aren't they lovely? So I'll just take that off there. You looking at my ball patch? I used to have, you won't believe this. You might. I used to have the biggest afro going when I was a kid. All kids used to, you know what kids are like, they're cruel out there. And I was the only sort of mixed race lad. Oh, one of the only. There were a couple of us. And used to call me Michael Jackson. Thought it was funny. But it did come in handy. I'll tell you a tale. What me and my brothers used to do. We used to go into the local sweet shop and into the local supermarket. As long as my mum's not listening to this. And what we used to do with them, you know, Parker pens, they were quite expensive. So we used to go in, have a look at them, take pen out, and I used to stick it in my afro and then walk out. And nobody knew, and I used to go to school and sell them for 10 pence. My mum used to say, where are you getting all that money from? There you go. Right, so that's nearly all of them. There's one over here that I harvested the other day. So I'll show you what they look like. So there we go. 10 butternut squash. Varying sizes. It says 10. 3, yeah, 10. 10 squash there. And I've got one in the shed. So these are going to go into the shed. I'm going to get rid of all this over on the burning pile. Am I going to tackle those weeds? I'll have to give that some thought. See how much energy I've got left. I'm going to get down on all fours. Keep my back nice and tight. I'll just start this. I'm not saying I'm going to finish it, but if I start it, then that G's me on to finishing it probably tomorrow. I was thinking about the Q&A the other day, and somebody said, I think it was my pal Glenn, said, ask me what was the most what were your most successful crop of the year? And I said, the sweet corn, which was true. But I think that was more because I'd been raped to my sweet corn the year before. So, but if I were to be asked that question again, I think I would have to say the outdoor tomatoes this year were absolutely off the scale. Oh dear. They were absolutely spot on. And I've still got the Roma over there. I've still got the Roma over there, and I'm still cropping them. So it was a belting year. Considering the year before, we had a very poor spring. And I can remember my tomatoes, which were in the bed behind you there, and they were horrendous. So yeah, I think the tomatoes did great, but I'm definitely doing less next year. Quite few things I'm going to do less of. Runner beans, tomatoes. What's the other thing? I forget what they call it now. I've got it in with my fennel there. Once I remember, I'll let you know. But this weed is unreal. Chard. That's how delayed my brain works. Chard. That's what I were after. Chard. Don't eat a lot of it. But rainbow chard looks lovely on plot, especially mixed in with the fennel. Right. I'm gonna speed that camera up a little bit so you're not getting bored. Well, there we go. There's still a few weeds in there, but you know what? It's a lot better than what it was. So I'm quite pleased with what I've done there. I'll just get this up to the pile and then I might call it an afternoon. Right, well, I think I've done quite a lot today, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a day. So, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for watching these videos, liking, subscribing and commenting. It really is appreciated. But that's it for the midweek update. I'll see you hopefully on the next one at the weekend. Until then, happy growing.